Okay, let's switch gears to the mouse himself. That's right, we're looking at a Disney film today. Now, the 80s could be looked at as a critical and financial hell for Walt Disney Pictures as more ambitious and experimental films targeted towards teenage audiences were being dished out of the blue. Some might say this started with the science fiction film The Black Hole, which was technically the first Walt Disney production to receive a PG rating. Later we'd see films like Something Wicked This Way Comes, Return to Oz, and Dragon Slayer, all of which took a long time to find an audience. But today, I'm spotlighting The Watcher in the Woods, a chiller based on the 1976 book of the same name. I can't tell you how many times as a kid I would go to the Blockbuster video and always encounter this box cover on the family film shelf. Apart from the Universal Monster classics and plenty of Goosebumps episodes, I wasn't watching a lot of horror films at the time, and The Watcher in the Woods was the sore thumb that was surrounded by all the animated movies. So, one day I finally asked my mom to rent it for the week, and no joke, when we took it home, my sister and I watched the shit out of it, at least 4 times before returning it to the store. What we watched was so different from any Disney film we had seen thus far, even amongst the live-action films. It almost felt like something we shouldn't be watching. There was no language or violence, but we could tell it was made by a filmmaker who wanted to tell a much more atmospheric, haunting tale for an older audience. And no doubt, some of the unsettling visuals stuck with us as kids. The setup is simple. You have an old American family taking possession of a baronial English manor, and almost instantly, there's peculiar things happening in the woods, including signs that point to the disappearance of a young girl during a solar eclipse decades before. This was released the same year as Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and both films use Steadicam work that far exceed most films at the time. In this film's case, we could be following the mysterious Watcher in the Woods, or a character we may or may not have seen before. The film never spoon-feeds the stalker in the movie, and having it be a POV makes it all the more unnerving. Even the dim, dark woods is gorgeous looking. I feel like the DP must have had a real hard-on for sunlight sneaking in. This is also a movie that relies on shapes, colors, and objects that recur throughout the film and have some mystical significance. Now, if there's a major thing that holds the film back, it's some of the acting. For whatever reason, Lynn Holly Johnson as the lead does not sell this character convincingly. It's like she can only bounce between over-exaggerated worry and fearful yelling, which is a shame because I thought she was fine in the movie Ice Castles, but it's been a long time since I've seen that. Everyone else is alright, but they're clearly overshadowed by classic actress Bette Davis, who even in her age at the time, has a commanding presence in every scene she's in. And once in a while, the more dated slam zooms and whistle stingers of the 70s pop up in this, and I can understand if that's a turnoff for some people. I don't mind them personally, but they certainly make the film a little more dated. I should also add that this film has 2 other alternate endings which most people argue break the film's tone and lore. I suppose if director John Howell wanted to go all the way with the science fiction alternate reality plot, it would have been a bold move, but I'm glad we have the more theatrical, supernatural storyline. As an adult, I can definitely say the film still holds up for the most part. Rewatching it was fascinating and well worth it. The storytelling is really mature in how it's paced and shot, especially compared to a lot of modern horror films now. But I should also say that I am way more desensitized to the scary moments in this film than when I was as a kid. However, that doesn't take away any technical value I still got out of it. It is pretty effective, it does make your skin crawl, and I definitely recommend it. I would even say it's a good miniature horror film gateway for young kids looking for something a little more daring. I mean, look at me. I turned out okay.
30 years ago, something happened in these woods. Something happened in this chapel. Something no one will talk about.
It's none of your business.
Mr. Keller, please!
Clear out of here.
Something happened to a young girl. And it's happening again.
I couldn't see myself in the mirror.
Something is watching again. Waiting. The Watcher in the Woods.
Sometimes I hear someone whispering in the wind.
What do you think happened to Karen?
I think she's still out there.
Who is the Watcher in the Woods?
It's not Karen outside there. Don't you understand? It's someone else.
Who or what is watching?
John, get away!
Bette Davis, Carol Baker, David McCallum and Lynn Holly Johnson. The Watcher in the Woods, from Walt Disney Productions. It is not a fairy tale.